Are these your kinks? Are these the guys that you go to look for guidance, advice, life experience, like the total amount of clowns that are out there on the internet right now, the online spaces, the content creators, the streamers, especially in the self development sphere? Are these your kinks? Like, I look at it and I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it. Like, these people are what they now call grifters, charlatans, snake oils, salesmen. They don't live up to what they really are. And even when they do, they don't portray any sort of, let's say, masculinity that you would really want to follow. If anything, you yourself, if you evolve as a person through experience, documenting your experience, creating your own philosophy, in a way you can win hands down in this current society. Instead of following these gurus, these so called masculine men, these so called alphas. And this goes across the board for a lot of stuff, the motivational speakers or men, the dating, relationship coaches, spiritual coaches, whatever it may be. These guys are selling you a dream. And I know about this. I know about this when there was a point in my life where I kind of lost direction. I was seeking different paths because I hit adversity. And at that point, instead of looking deep within, instead of following the trajectory that I kind of always knew I should have taken, I deviated. I wanted to find people or a group that I aligned with. And there was so much inspirational, motivational talk out there. But then it got to a point where I looked at my life and I was like, am I really progressing? What I was really doing was consuming. And yes, there were points where I would take action, but I couldn't hit that consistency. I couldn't stay motivated. And I hit a plateau. And that plateau continued for a while. And you can say, yes, it's always, in a way, in a sense, down to you as an individual to take your life by the scruff of the neck and produce the outcomes. Take the actions, produce the outcomes. But a lot of the time, you get into a lot of this content, this material, and you become self indulged in more so the dopamine of maybe reading books, trying to be productive, biohacking, etc., one after the other, becoming better socially, dating, creating your own business. And in a sense, these are all good practices. They are. But a lot of the time, at the end of the day, what it is that you're ensnared, entrapped by that personality that is online. It is the way they're delivering the message that you enjoy. It is the potential of you changing, but really staying where you are. And that's where a lot of these gurus keep you. They keep you in a spot where you feel like you're moving forward. You're taking some of the actions that they are saying that you should do. You're inspired by their words, but a lot of the time you're just coming back to their videos. You just wanted to get that dopamine, a little bit of serotonin. But in reality, a lot of their products, their messaging, etc., is to keep you trapped. It's to keep you coming back and then converting you into one of their pay pigs. But even aside from that, just looking at some of the characters in this space, and a lot of them, they talk a good game. But when it comes down to it, when you see some of the actions and the portrayal of them in their content, you're having to wonder, are these guys either plants, industry plants? Are they just faking, acting? And this is where it leaves you a lot of the time in the end. And you're taking a lot of their ideologies, just like I was. What I wanted to do was, take some of the ideologies and maybe, implement it into my own philosophy and taking bits here and there. And you can still do that. But ultimately, it is down to you to really create your own insights and giving your own experiences in this world, going out there, taking the action, determining what outcomes you may get, positive or negative, learning from that, and then continuing to build. But continuing to watch some of these clowns online, that's setting you up for fail. 100%. It's setting you up for fail because these guys are not it. They're just not it. I'm not saying everyone. There are some good people in some of the self-development, philosophical spaces, to try and improve your life, to try and get a grasp on life when you feel a little bit wayward, a little bit lost. But I can't reiterate enough, it is for you to take the power. A lot of this stuff is, purely distractions. It's good to look at because you can learn from it. You can learn how not to be a lot of the time rather than how to be from these guys. Like I said, they talk a good game. Snake oils salesman. But really, it is down to you to find that confidence in yourself. Find that ability to learn from your experiences by going out there and doing things rather than watching these dudes online making a fool and a clown of themselves and for you to go and replicate the same thing. Because as I've spoken before, like when I was looking at some of the dating content and trying to implement it, I turned into a bit of a goofy. Like I was inauthentic to myself, and it rubbed off on people in the wrong way. It turned people off. And you have to turn these guys off because they're going to ruin you. They're going to give you false ideologies that you will go out and present to the world. And, we're living in a world where if you don't have much guidance, I'm not a religious dude as such, but religion can give you a structure. But take some of that religion and implement it in your life along with other ideologies, philosophies, etc. But don't just go deep in on one content creator and another that are really sabotaging you in a sense. Really go out there, really experience the world, experience everything that you can, that is within your realm, within your ability to do so. Especially when you're young, take those experiences and continue to build those into your philosophies, your ideologies, your understanding of the world. Because these guys online, from what you're seeing, they're frauds.